Right, all of you. What we discussed in yesterday's class, any idea, please?
Versions of SQL Server.
Options and additions, right?
Advantage of MySQL RDBMS.
Okay. Right. So coming to next scenario. So versions details and additions details we discussed in the last session. And today, we are going to work with some scenarios related to languages, SQL languages, SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So this is common language for database development. So not only Microsoft SQL Server, you go to any RDBMS database in the market. Right, and any RDBMS database, there we are going to work with SQL part. Structured Query Language. In the same way, so this language contains some sub-languages. So by following those sub-languages only, we are going to develop the databases. So what are those sub-languages? Let us see. So overall, we have 5 sub-languages. DDL, Data Definition Language. So in this, we are going to work with different commands like create, truncate, alter, and drop. So these are the different sub-languages we have. Create command is used to create tables in SQL environment, because in SQL RDBMS, right, we can store data in the form of tables only. 1 second, please. Let me drink water. Wait, please. I'm sorry, all. Right. So DDL commands, data definition language commands, completely related to table creation. I mean, table related, because in RDBMS databases, only way we can store data is table. Without creating table, you cannot store data. So creating table, truncate means deleting data from the table. Alter means modify table structure, like adding new columns, dropping columns, changing data types. Next, drop command means completely deleting table. So these commands, DDL commands, data definition language commands, completely related to structure of the table only, no doubt. Next, we have DML, data manipulation language, insert, update, delete. So insert command, update command, delete command, these are comes under data manipulation language. Data related operations. So in the beginning, we are working with the table creation related scenarios. After that, we are working with the data manipulations related operations, DML. So then we are going to work with the DRL statements. DRL means what? Data retrieval language, right? So the only command of the DRL is select command. So what is the purpose of select statement? Retrieving data from the table. Okay. So for example, you create a table. Suppose you inserted data, updated data, deleted it. Finally, you want to see what is there in the table. Right. So there we are going to work with this select statement. Right in. That is the purpose. Okay. So coming to next scenario, TCL commands, transaction control language. Commit command, rollback. Basically, commit command used to save the changes. Rollback command is used to rollback operation. See, what is this commit and rollback? I'll tell you some scenario here. In SQL Server, we are going to perform different types of operations. Right? In SQL Server, we are working with the different types of operations. After completion of the operation, we are going to save the changes, or we are going to cancel the changes. Right? So you're performing some operation. After completion of the operation, you're going to save the operation or you're going to cancel the operation. See, now if you want to save operation, you are going to work with the commit command. If you want to cancel operation, you are going to work with the rollback statement. Right? So that is TCL, transaction control language. After that, we are going to work with the DCL commands, data control language. So data control language means this is somewhat related to security part of the SQL server. So here we are going to work with the grant command and revoke command. Grant means providing permissions. Revoke means canceling permissions. Right? So that is the scenario of the grant revoke. So now these are the sub languages. DDL, DML, DRL, TCL, DCL. So these are the sub languages we are going to work in SQL environment. Okay. So now coming to next scenario. We are going to discuss about project environment in the same way, database environment. Because before going to start working with commands, we have to discuss about all these things, like in project environment, how the data is going to store. And in the project database environment, how many servers minimum we are going to use. These are all I'm going to discuss. After finishing these operations, I'm going to work with them. The tool details, then tool we are going to work with data types. So you go to project environment. So different layers will be there like this. In the same way, some users will be there, customers. So these customers are going to interact with the application. So through application, they are going to store data in the form of databases. So here they are going to create some connection. Connection between what? Application and the database layer, right? If connection is not there, then how application is going to work with database? It cannot, right? That's why. So through application, users are going to connect it to databases and they're going to perform operations. So what are the operations users are going to perform? Same, these operations only. Insert, update, delete, select this type of operations they're going to perform. But previously we discussed table creation also. But I have not mentioned table creation in this scenario. Please check it. Why? Because who is going to create table? Developer. Even other development scenarios also will be done by development team only. No doubt, Andy. So here application user means what? End user, customer. Customer is going to interact with our database. But they cannot create tables because already it is developed, right? Whatever the scenarios you developed, those scenarios will be used by this team, I mean end users. That's my point. So this is quite common scenario and regular operations in any environment. Right? This is what the scenario. And in the same, and now we have to discuss about the database environment also. See. So minimum 3 servers will be there in every project. So maximum number of servers we cannot predict. That depends. So this server is development server, QA server, and this is known as production. Who is going to work with the development environment? Developer, SQL developer. You are SQL developer. This training is SQL development training, right? Okay. So and they're going to perform development related activities. Tables creation, working with commands, working with queries, working with different types of programs. So these are all will be done by development team. So after that, it goes to QA. Will be there in QA, testing area. They're going to test the database developed by development team. After that, it goes to production server. DBA team will be there. And end users data, customers data will be there in this production. In development environment, QA environment, they are going to work with only test data. For example, some table created. After that, they developed some query. They developed what? Some query to retrieve data from the table. Right, Andy? So they have to check it after writing query. We'll check it like whether it is working fine or not, right? So for that purpose, we are using something like, we call it as test data. We are going to keep some text data in the table. By using the test data only, we are going to perform operations. That is what the scenario. But DBA environment means production. Production database, it always contains only customers' data, end users' data. You remember these environments because we are going to work with SQL developer. We are going to work with testing engineers team in the same DBA team also. Because you should know what are the different environments will be there, minimum environments in databases. So these are the environments we have, minimum environments. So coming to next scenario. Tool. After completion of the SQL Server installation, we are going to work with we are going to connect it to SQL Server, and we are going to perform different types of operations. So to connect to.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
What are the uses for data analyst?
That we discussed in Power BI class. It is not Power BI class, Vicky Kumar. It is SQL developer class. You connect it to 7 p.m. class or tomorrow morning 7 a.m. class. There I will discuss more on that. Okay. No?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. All points will cover there, sir.
Everything will be covered.
Thank you,
Better
sir.
you connect tomorrow morning 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So coming to next scenario, without a tool, we cannot connect it to SQL Server and we cannot perform operations in SQL Server. So what is the tool? What is the name of the tool? Tool name is Management Studio. In shortcut, it is also known as SSMS. SSMS stands for SQL Server Management Studio. So here, by using this tool only, we perform maximum operations. I already installed SQL Server in this laptop. Management Studio installed. Let us see that. Connected to Management Studio. Okay. So please connect. SQL Server videos, I will give you measure. Because SQL Server installation, database creation related to DBA team. Okay. No? So for you to complete installation, I'm going to give you videos. So this is Management Studio. Go to databases. Suppose you can see some database here, open database. You can see tables like this. In the same way, where we are going to write queries. We have new query window here. Like this. You can open new query window. In this window, you can work with commands, queries, programs. Then here you can see execute button. By using this execute button, you can complete execution of the queries, or else you can also use F5 function key F5 from the keyboard. So now before going to start working with table creation, you have to maintain clarity in data types. Because here we are going to store different types of data. Right? Numbers, characters, special characters, date, time, currency related. So different types of operations we are going to perform. So now let us start with the number family. What are the data types available in this number family? Integer. Integer means perfect number. It will not accept any decimal values. For example, I'm giving 6. This is integer because there is no decimal value. Suppose 6.1. Now it is decimal value. So integer does not allow any decimal values because integer means it is perfect number. In the same way, you can also work with float data type. Float means it accepts decimal values. Okay, find out the difference. Integer no decimal value. Float data type accepts decimal values. So in the same way, we have some other data type also. That is numeric of P comma S. P stands for precision. S stands for scale. Now question is what is precision and what is scale? Let's go for some example here. Numeric of 5 comma 2. 5 is precision, 2 is scale. Precision indicates total number of digits. Total digits in the number. Scale indicates number of digits after decimal point. Precision indicates total digits in the number. Scale indicates number of digits after decimal point. Okay. Suppose this is decimal point. Scale is 2. So I can go for 2 digits after decimal point. So total 5. We have given 2 after decimal. That means before decimal we can go for 3 digits. So this area is scale. And the complete scenario, whole scenario is comes under precision. Precision minus scale. Precision minus scale equal to number of digits before decimal point. See that 3 digits I have given before decimal. This is a numeric data type. So numeric is clear or any questions, please, anybody? Numeric data type is clear, right? Okay. So coming to next scenario, character family. Character data, we call it as string data. String ending. So we have char of length. Char is data type, length, L stands for length. So what is the length you are going to assign? See, this is known as a fixed length character data. It accepts alphanumeric data. Alphanumeric means what? Mixing of characters and numbers. Mixing of characters and numbers. Suppose A, 1, 2, 3. This is alphanumeric. Okay, alphanumeric. In the same way, max storage capacity 8,000 bytes. That means maximum of 8,000 characters can be stored because 1 byte equal to 1 character. 1 byte equal to 1 character. And it provides even performance also, speed, accessing speed. But only problem with this data type is memory wastage. So how memory wastage occurs? I'll give you an example. Suppose you are working with some table. So in table you have some column, ename column. For ename column, you are given data type char of 10. That means maximum of 10 characters can be inserted into that column. How many characters? Maximum 10. Suppose I'm inserting my name, Suresh. How many characters there in this name? 6. So maximum you are given 10, but you are inserting only 6. So it has to occupy only 6 byte space in the database. But what happens, you know, it occupies 6 bytes for the data. And remaining 4 bytes, it will go for blank padding. Right, Andy? So in this way, some memory wastage will be there. But here you can ask some questions. So even Microsoft also knows that memory wastage will be there when working with this data type. Yes, that's okay, but performance. Generally, we use this data type for fixed length columns. Some columns we are always working with the fixed data, true, 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 false, false, false. So this type of fixed data columns we are going to use, we are going to work. For those columns, we use this data type. Otherwise, we are going to work with varchar of length. So this is known as variable length character data. So it also accepts alphanumeric values, maximum 8,000 bytes, and no memory wastage. No memory wastage will be there when we are working with this data type. So these are the different scenarios, different data types we have in character family. But see, maximum 8,000 bytes only, right? So if it is exceeding 8,000 bytes, what to do? You can work with varchar of max. Maximum 2 GB size up to. Right. You can store it in this data type, but anyhow, it is varchar data. No memory wastage will be there. Right. So now, next we are going to work with date time data. So we have different data types, small data. In this, you can store up to 2079th year. This is the maximum limitation. In the same way, we have date time also. In this, we can store up to 9,999th year. See this maximum scenarios, we are going to work with date time only. But limitations there, as per your requirement, you can go for small date time or date time, because small date time up to 2079th year only, right? If it is date time, then you can store up to 9,999th year. In the same way, you can work with only date data type, only time also. Sometimes you are going to store only date value. Okay. These are really important. Sorry. Next, we are going to work with money data type. It is used to store currency values with symbols. Suppose I want to store $10. 10 is number, but dollar symbol is special character, right? Currency symbol. So if you want to store like this, currency values with currency symbols, we are going to use this money data type, currency values. Even we can also work with XML data type, because if you want to store XML type data in SQL, we need some supporting data type. So there we are going to work with this one, XML. Okay. So these are the different data types we have in SQL to store data, different types of data. And coming to next scenario. Next, we have to discuss about some scenarios like server names, databases and all. After discussing about databases, system databases, we'll get more clarity. What is our database? How data is going to store in our database, those things we'll get. After finishing those things, we are going to work with the DDL commands. Okay, clear?